Well, that's exciting in terms of developing the history. So let's move from the farming to the wetland to other areas. We mentioned some of the housing desecration on the mountain in the back. What are some of the issues now with Kaiwi, which is dear to both of our hearts and to the community, all of our hearts here, and some of the things are happening? How about a review on what the governor and Abby Meyer and us working together?
Sure. I guess ask and you shall receive. about a year or so ago, we had worked with Senator Hemmings and yourself and had asked how do we take the Mackay lands and move it into conservation district. The general public at large thought that it already was done, and it wasn't. So it was a matter of crossing the T's and dotting the I's, and it had to happen somewhere. And so we were so fortunate that Abby Meyer from the Office of Planning championed that all the way through the entire process, and the governor allowed for the resources to go towards that end of time, energy. And it was a great process to go through. It was a complete 360 circle of all the efforts to save Sandy Beach and the contiguous Kaiwi shoreline. So 3 cheers to everybody who was a part of that endeavor. However, we do still have the Mauka side. And on the Mauka side, I think we're very vigilant and determined to ensure that the entire coast stays in its natural wild state. And you know, nowadays there are great things like land trusts and conservation easements and other ways of going about saving special places.
I share with you the kudos for Abby Meyer of the governor's office, who unrelentlessly pursued that, even though Abby said that it's never been done for over a decade. You got to have the resources. His office, the Office of Planning, is basically down to a skeletal crew. They think the DLNR is down to really a skeletal crew. His office, even more so. So attempting to do this, we had to have some momentum, and fortunately he stuck with it. It came to pass, and as you're saying now, the Mackay area is fine, but the Mauka area is still in trouble. How about an update on the Mauka? There was a rumor that there was going to be a golf academy.
Sure.
You golf in the daytime and then you go sleep in a cabin up in the mountains at night? That didn't come to pass, did it?
It didn't come to pass. I don't exactly know the details, but I believe again that we need to be vigilant. They were trying to build the golf academy and link it to the existing golf course. Currently what they're doing is there's another piece of land in the area and they're looking to do a cluster subdivision.
Tell us about that.
Yep. Cluster subdivision on a little piece of land that was originally designated as an access road.
So where they could drive right onto Kaiwi?
You could
or through the golf course?
Yeah, just a small access road. Someone decided the same team of people thought it would be a good idea to put a cluster of 2-story condominiums, and then there's another parcel of land that they're going through subdivision approval now, and we suspect they're going to be looking to build the same product. So more housing in an area that was originally considered an access road. But to the larger community and people who have lived there for 30 years, that strip of grassy area was always considered as a sacred viewshed. As you come up Hawaii Kai Drive, you have a great expansive view up towards the mountain. Unfortunately, it looks like we're going to have some cluster homes there now.
To be specific now, so people understand where we're talking about, as you come up Hawaii Kai Drive and you hit Kealaho, we're talking about the piece of land just in front where it looks like it's a roadway that's waiting to be built, which was in fact an access road, which is now ceded over. And we're talking about the signature piece of land along that strip from, I forget the name, that goes to Kamehameha Ridge.
Yeah. Oh, well, actually, there's 2 parcels. That first parcel that you referred to, that's sandwiched in between the shopping center and a drainage ditch. And that's the first parcel.
Rather big drainage ditch.
Yeah, rather big one. And that's the first one that they're going for subdivision approval. And then another parcel that's deeper in is
we're not talking about Kamehameha Ridge. We're talking about only from the end and then outwards towards the golf course. In towards the golf course.
And then that second parcel where they're currently going for approval for the subdivision for 26 cluster units would be accessed through Mokuhanu, which is currently a dead end, small little cul-de-sac. And so the residents there are very concerned because they've lived there for 30 years and they're concerned about the process again. They've only had 10 days notice.
Some of us were rather surprised and have written letters, as many of the community have. I know that as you have there's a letter that says, hey, at least answer the 26 questions that Livable Hawaii Kai Hui has put together. You just did a good shopping list of things of which we've written and asked for 6 months, kind of like a processing area. For some reason, cluster development doesn't require a neighborhood board presentation, of which I think, remember the last time when we had EV required only certain levels of public notification. We went and met with Charles Dejoux. Charles introduced and had then a resolution passed, and we raised the bar. So why not raise the bar, whether it's a cluster development or it's single family, that we in effect can make it known to the public.
Right, I agree with you. I think oftentimes we forget that infill development may sometimes have a tremendous impact on the residents in the immediate area. So I agree with you. When we at Livable Hawaii Kaihui has decided, in the context of the sustainable plan, to take up that issue. What is infill development? And when landowners have entitlements, how can we improve the sensitivity to the neighboring properties? What can we do to improve the process?
People love Hawaii Kai, and if we get more dense and we get less parking and less ability to move and navigate and more noise and more traffic, people are saying the lifestyle, the planned community that Henry Kaiser put there is not going to be accessible. So thank you guys for being the eyes and the ears of the community. I think we're running out of time. We can't have you talk about the East Honolulu Sustainable Community Plan any longer. But we do have a few seconds for closing comments from each of you.
I just want to thank you very much for always being there and being approachable and the kind of representative that rolls up his sleeves and gets his hands dirty with all of us. So thank you very much.
Did we, well, I may have to pay her, but no.
I wanted to say one key component of our restoration project is working with the experts to restore not only the wetland but the surrounding landscape with native plants and create an educational environment for the cultural and natural area. And I think Ivan had one thought.
Ivan?
Yes.
You get the last word other than the host.
Okay. These projects aren't just for one generation or two, it's for the next and then the next. That's why it's the job of the younger volunteers and members to carry on where the other generation left off.
It's your family, your family's family, and all of our grandchildren that are going to make a difference. This is the end of the Word for Ward. Thank you for viewing. Thank you for learning more about Livable Hawaii Kaihui and those that are watching over for our community. Thank you and aloha.